Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome. And I want to thank all of you for tuning us in and turning us on. Welcome to our Good News segment. Jim Greenwood, President and CEO of Biotechnology Innovation Organization. I love that word, innovation, is joining us here today. Because why do I love that word? You know, we have to think about what happens when we don't create, when we're not innovative. You know, even if you think you're just holding your own, the technology world is zipping right by you. Jim, thank you for joining us here today. Great to have you on the show.
Well, it is my pleasure. I appreciate the opportunity.
So I love the word innovation. Of course, we're talking about, your organization, but more importantly, we're really looking at innovation. People are hungry for it. And they don't even know what they don't know about the biotech industry. So let's talk about what happens when you put the word biotechnology together with the word innovation. What do we get?
Well, thank you. And actually, I've been on this job now for this is my 13th year. When I arrived, we were called the Biotechnology Industry Organization.
Right.
And a few years back, I said, let's change our name from industry to innovation because that's what we're all about. So maybe why don't I start with Biotech 101 and tell your listeners what it is. So biotechnology is about understanding life, human life, animal life, plant life, and its biology at a very profound level, understanding how it works at the cellular level, at the genetic level, at the molecular level. And then taking that knowledge and innovating new treatments and cures for diseases, innovating new crops that can make farmers more productive and feed an increasingly hungry world, innovating new biofuels and biomaterials that are greener and more sustainable for the planet. So it's all about the genius of our people and our great scientists and the willingness of our entrepreneurs to take chances and investors to invest in these little companies and at the end of the day come up with a far better world for it.
Well, we live in this world where I made a statement earlier when I introduced you. Statement I made is if you think you're holding your own and you're keeping up, the rest of the technology world has moved beyond you. At least that's what we're finding in our industry. And that's why, we are building completely new technology that doesn't even exist in radio and media. I want to ask you, is that still true of the biotech industry? Is it moving that quickly?
Oh, yeah, I think it's galloping, frankly. If you think about the past and think about HIV/AIDS, right, which was not very long ago, a death sentence, right?
Yeah.
And hundreds of thousands of people dying. Today, thanks to biotechnology companies, we've turned it into a lifelong manageable disease. And if you were to contract the virus today at the age of, let's say, 20, you'll live well into your 70s. And I think through gene editing, we will eventually be able to actually go in and edit the virus within the body of an infected person so that it no longer produces the AIDS disease. Think about cancer treatments that have now enabled us to reduce deaths from cancer by 25%. How long ago was it? Just a couple of years ago, Jimmy Carter was diagnosed with brain cancer.
Yeah.
Took one of our new products and he's cured. Hepatitis C, affecting millions of people around the planet, used to be uncurable and led to liver transplant and horrible disease and death. Now you take a pill a day for 12 weeks and you're cured. So we're innovating at a very rapid pace, and it's exciting, and I don't think it's hyperbolic to say that eventually we'll defeat every disease known to man.
Well, I think that's what the public is really counting on. They're counting on a number of different things. They're counting on the innate wisdom that we look at how to integrate all of the knowledge we have out there to save lives. Tell us about the convention, because I was just looking at it, and first of all, Robin Roberts to be there to be speaking. Many people may think, why? Why is Robin speaking? Very few people know about Robin's journey, but more importantly, about the convention and what is produced here and presented.
Sure. Well, we'll bring something like 16 or 17,000 people to Boston June 4 through 7. We will have 45,000 one-on-one meetings where business people talk to each other and about ways to collaborate and improve the research and development that they're doing. We'll have 800 speakers. We'll have 1,800 exhibitors from around the world. And back to Robin Roberts, I'm going to be interviewing her. I've read both of her books. And she had breast cancer. She was very public about it on the television show. She was cured thanks to our products. She then developed a disease of her bone marrow and received a bone marrow transplant. So we were able to get her to come and tell her story, and I'm looking forward to that interview. She's a wonderful human being. And then the other interview I'm going to be doing the next day is with Rob Reiner. For those listeners old enough to remember All in the Family, he was Meathead, right? And as referred to by Archie Bunker, well, he's become a very, very successful movie director. And his most recent movie is called Being Charlie. I just watched it 2 nights ago. It's based on the true story of his son being addicted to opioids and heroin. And so we're going to talk about that. And the reason that that's connected to biotech is because we have companies that are trying to innovate new products that are painkillers that are not addictive, and also innovating new drugs that will treat the person who's already addicted. So, for instance, an injection that causes the addict, if the addict goes ahead and uses again, there's no euphoria, there's no high, so there's sort of no point in doing it. And I know what your field is. We have lots of companies working on antidepressants and a lot of other treatments for mental disease.
I mean, this is really the platform we're now stepping into. And by the way, talking about this publicly is our number one achievement, in my opinion. There's nothing worse than keeping secrets about our health, our well-being, all of that. And, what I think this particular convention does is it opens up the door for dialogue. And I think that is quite an accomplishment. I want to ask you this. I know you. Go ahead. Go ahead, Jim. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just going to follow up what you said. When 16 or 17,000 experts come together and spend 4 days formally and informally networking, they go home, they go back to their companies, and the growth in what we know and what we can do medically just increases geometrically. It's an amazing phenomenon.
So, here we are, we're talking about it. The biotech industry has had some tremendous challenges from the public eye, but also outstanding innovations. Where do you see the industry going? And if you personally, I won't put you on the spot scientifically, but you personally, what do you see that next thing one to be? Thing one.
Well, I think it's all about gene editing. It's about recognizing that so many of the diseases that inflict us and have for millennia come from genetic mutations. Our DNA is a long spiraling series of molecules that are, when printed correctly, if you will, and reproduced, make our body function in all the myriad ways that it does. But sometimes there's a misspelling, combination of those molecules, and that causes genetic diseases that are horrible. Gene editing is going to enable us to go in and actually correct those misspellings, if you will. There's a little company in Philadelphia called Spark, and there was a set of genetic mutations that cause blindness. They had a young boy who couldn't see hardly at all. He'd walk around and bang into things. They took the corrected gene, put it into a virus that can deliver it into his cells, injected it behind his eyes, and now he can see again. So I am personally just thrilled and excited about where all of the science is going to take us and how much human suffering and premature death we'll be able to prevent.
Well, I got to tell you, I know you probably don't care about what my number one attraction is, but I am all over nanotechnology. And I know that you have a company, Nanoscope, that's going to be there as well. Nanotechnology and, its ability to wipe out Lyme's disease, chronic Lyme disease. It's just incredible. And, this is just one company, one point of view, one perspective that you all are bringing together. And I want to thank you for that. Look, there's so many things to talk about. What would you say, folks that are attending this, that are showing up, what would you say to those folks about what they're going to take away from the convention? What are they going to walk away with? And also, how can they find out more?
Well, I think they're going to take away hope. I think they're going to, in a world that sometimes seems pretty dismal, to know that eventually we'll be able to defeat every disease, and that real live human beings who we don't want to see our loved ones suffer may very well not, because of some things that are learned and shared at this convention. And if people want to know more about the convention, all they need to do is go to convention.bio.org. And if they want to learn more about my organization, just go to bio.org, or on Twitter, I am Biotech.
One question for you. What's the vision you have for your company?
Well, we're not a company. We're a trade association consisting of 1,000 companies.
Well, okay, yeah,
but
sorry, my bad.
The vision that's okay. That's okay. The vision that I have is that we help the policymakers, the members of Congress, the state legislators, the governors, understand better how we function. Right now, they're kind of down on us over some of the prices of our products, which can be expensive, and insurance companies require larger and larger deductibles. I want to make sure that my organization helps the policymakers understand what kind of policy we need to be able to continue to be successful and provide hope for patients.
I want to support your organization in doing that too, because you and I both know, especially the healing journey that I've been on, you could have the most innovative product on there. And if we don't have somebody like you and your organization out there saying, folks, we got to make this available to people, then we all start scratching our heads, don't we?
Yeah, we do. And I've said to my board, this is a moral issue. There should be no one anywhere who needs a drug who can't get it because of what's required to come out of their pocket. That's wrong.
Boy, I'll tell you, I'm going to take that quote, because that is absolutely correct. Thank you, Jim. Thank you so much for all that you do. One more time, website for the convention.
Convention.bio.org.
I love it. And folks, when you get there, please check around, click around, take a look at the exhibitors, take a look at the speakers. There's so much going on here. Take a look at the dates, pick a date, and have some fun showing up there and finding out what it is that's going on in the world that is literally beyond a moral issue, a life-saving issue. Thank you, Jim. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
You too. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody, welcome. Hey, you know what? You guys have heard us talk about on air here recently what the heck we are doing. And let's remember this acronym, GDPR. And so you've heard me talk about it. You've heard me talk about what we are doing to try to make sure we are in full compliance. But in the end, none of us over here had a good sense of what we're doing with privacy, how to do it better, and why it's important to all of you. Gabe Greenberg and Adam Helfgott is joining me here today. Gabe is CEO of, if I would say this, GabeCon, founder, and Adam is Mad Network CEO and founder. And today, I hope we are going to get some insight why all of you are getting all the emails you are getting from people saying, we're complying. Welcome, both of you to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
So I just got an email from a radio show with saying, hey, just so you know, you tune into this, just click on this over here, because this is going to guarantee that we all are taking seriously your privacy, what it means, what it doesn't mean. I want to talk about this idea of our rights to privacy and what both of you are doing and taking this message out. So thank you for joining me. Let's start with you, Gabe, if we could. I don't think I'm alone when I say that I emailed one of my networks 2 days ago and I said, hey, guys, what are you doing about this? And the response was, what is this? So can we start with the question of what is this?
Sure. Happy to. So the General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR, is a European Union regulation that gives consumers more control over how and where their data is used. So, we've all heard about the Cambridge Analytica mess where data was used to inform election results. And, that's actually not an abuse of data. It actually happens every day in advertising. It's just a more profound use case that people were aware of because it hit closer to home. What GDPR will do is give consumers more control to try to avoid what happened with Cambridge Analytica. It doesn't guarantee that it won't happen, but certainly gives consumers more control over how and where their data can or will be used. Doesn't really impact the U.S., which is why a lot of people, when you say, what are you doing about this? They may say, what is that? Or we're not doing anything. Right. Because honestly, it has no impact on the U.S., so you don't have to do anything yet. But we do think that similar regulation will eventually come to the U.S.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, let me ask you this question, Adam, if we could, and take a look at, for those of us here that didn't know it didn't impact us, like we have been jumping through hoops and we have been putting stuff on our websites, and we called our provider or server GoDaddy. Since we distribute to 90 other media outlets, we just didn't know, what should we? So we just did. Let's talk about why this is super important. And I'm okay with the fact that we're ahead of the curve. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So what is so important about the privacy factor, as I call it?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting idea. I mean, it can go really back to Fourth Amendment rights or free speech. All these types of things. What does privacy mean? What we believe it means, and the way that we build Mad Hive and Mad Network, is that the definition of privacy is consent. And if things are happening with my data that I didn't really consent to, do I have privacy? And the Cambridge Analytica debacle kind of answered that question. I may have in theory clicked the terms of service that gave the ability for my survey answers about, what kind of potato I am that I did for fun, or what kind of celebrity do I look like, to be used to be statistically mined to figure out if I lean to the left or lean to the right, and then that data is then sold to to target propaganda to me. I might have clicked a button that allowed that to happen, but I didn't really consent for this fun survey to be shared in that way.
Right.
So there's the spirit of the law, and then of what I thought I signed up for, and then what I signed up for. Right. So so that's really the question that's in the consciousness today, we think.
Well, I'm really excited to talk with both of you about sort of what I love to call the reveal. Here you both are, and you're out there, and you're going to Cain's, and you're opening up the door, and all of a sudden now there's a much bigger conversation, because what you are bringing forth and have revealed, right, has enormous impact. But at the same time, it has people able to sleep better at night. Tell us about what you did reveal when you opened up the door to say, look this is a case study. This is what we're showing you. This is how we're revealing it at Cain's. And by the way, let us show you how cool and important and well this works. Why don't we talk about that? Because I want folks to know about what you all did. Gabe, you want to kick that off for a minute?
Sure. Well, it's not happened yet. We're announcing it on June the 19th, so in a few short weeks. And really, what we're announcing is the fact that this protocol is coming, not that it's live. So there aren't necessarily any early results per se, but I think Adam can probably better address the rest of that question.
Yeah, and the reason I want to talk about it now and talk about it as if it's happened is because, first of all, it's really, relevant to people. And right now, folks are so worried about data privacy. And you guys are way out in front of this. And I think by the time June 19th comes around, your names will be pretty well known. And people will want to get a hold of whatever it is you're talking about. And how quickly will everything be developed?
We hope so.
Sure. Yeah, we hope so. I mean, there's a couple of fundamental things like that. So the way the internet works today is the reason why it's so successful is that we have this basically free way to transmit information that's never been possible in human history before. That I can disseminate a thought to like millions of people essentially for free. And but what we don't have online is the ability to have one of something or keep track of something as it goes through a supply chain. I can't keep ownership of something. I can only make copies of something. That's how the internet works. And then it's kind of funny that privacy and data sovereignty and all these things are coming up just as this technology called blockchain is also evolving. And really the fundamental problem that blockchain solves is the ability to have one of something in a digital environment. So in the real world, you can have one of something. You have a $20 bill in your pocket. If you hand that to me, I have $20 and you don't. But on the internet, if you can only really send a copy of $20, and that's why services like Venmo and banks all exist to keep track of what you sent and whatnot. But they're just making copies too, and we're trusting that the banks are honest. And and it also requires immense amount of infrastructure to support that. And so what blockchains represent is the ability to create a protocol layer, much like how your browser works in accessing that information that you don't really understand. You don't have to know what's happening. Is that can we create a way where all your data is stored with you on your devices and that you kind of rent it out based on context that you decide. So if you're not going to be asked every time you want to share your data, but you probably want to say, hey, I don't want fast food companies to target me when I'm on a diet.
Right.
Like you can set the context to things like that. Because today that happens all the time. You're definitely probably susceptible to use a $2 coupon for a burger. If you're about to quit your diet, things like that, and that's used all the time. So that's just one example, or the Cambridge example. Lots of money was spent to target right-wing propaganda to swing voters, and that wasn't really consented to. So we're using blockchain technology to create a layer on top of the existing advertising infrastructure to give consumers the ability to consent to how their data is consumed by advertisers, which we believe advertisers actually want, because they don't, for the long-term viability of a brand, they don't want to be violating consumers' privacy either.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love, the thing about this that I love, being in the, believe it or not, Positive Talk Radio. 15 years ago, we started something that we call Positive Talk Radio. It didn't exist. And now we're 15 years into it. We're a number one show in this venue. But I will tell you this. What you're talking about is important to us and important to our base or contingency of people, because they are very clear about what they like, what they don't like, what they want, what they don't want. And even in this venue for me, where we're very careful about providing them the kind of information and radio shows that they want, every once in a while we'll mess up, right? We'll step out of the realm of what they want, and we hear about it. And so what I hear you saying, and maybe I'm oversimplifying it, is that this is not only good for the consumer, but I'll tell you, it's really good for somebody like me. I don't want to offend my base. I don't want to offend people by
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think we're talking about that quite enough, because what I hear on my end is a lot of resistance from the business end of it. And yet we see what you guys are talking about as an enormous benefit. How might we bring this conversation to folks at a level where everybody understands a win-win?
Yeah, I mean, you bring up a really interesting point. Go ahead, Gabe.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that, like it's a subtle point that people, like you as a media property, you want to be like, right now it's not brand. If you were talking about like really dark things that are happening in the world, advertisers might not want to advertise with you at that moment in time. Mm-hmm. And that's like a thing called brand safety, right? Last year, the big thing was, is my ads brand safe? We think it's not going to be brand safe to advertise on platforms that don't respect consumer privacy.
That's right.
That, that the brand, like that Ford's brand, if they're spending $10 million on a platform that doesn't respect privacy, that they might get some short-term profits, but it'll probably kill the brand over time.
Yeah, we totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think we have yet understood the implication. I know you guys got to run. In our case, we have a listener base. They call into the shows. And for that listener base, millions of people all over the world, pretty much like 132 countries, at some point, they're going to be like, wait a minute, my voice is on your show. Even if it's not directly related to what we're talking about, it's an impression, right? I know you guys got to run, but this is a really important conversation. I really commend you for this. And we are 100% all in, even if we don't know exactly everything you're talking about. How can people find out more?
Sure. Our website is MAD Network, MAD Network.io, and Gabcon, GABBCON, like Nancy.com. There's a Twitter. It's at Mad Network _. And we keep up to date with with our community, growing community as well. And that's really it.
Okay. And I want one last question, real quick. Each of you, what's your personal message? What do you want to leave us with? What do you want to tell our listeners?
Sure, Gabe.
Yeah, I think the most important point to recognize is as a consumer, you have a choice and the right to have a choice about how and where your data is used. Mm-hmm. And publishers like the one you're listening to actually care.
Yeah.
And so take advantage of the opportunity. Don't use this as an opportunity to shut down access, but use it as an opportunity to choose what you do and don't want to hear.
Awesome.
Totally believe that we're at a inflection point where we can move towards that like dystopian sci-fi world or like the utopian version, and a lot of it has to do with how your personal data is exercised in the digital networks, and and how information has gotten to you. And so I think that's it's
awesome.
Pretty important.
Thank you, guys. Thank you all so much for doing what you're doing. I know you got a long day ahead of you. Everybody, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. And again, pay attention to those websites, that information that we have given out here today, and get yourself educated. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show, Transformation Talk Radio, transformationradio.fm, all of the above. Great having all of you tune us in and turn us on. We have been on a roll for about 2 weeks now. Almost all of the people we've had on have been talking about frequencies, why they're so important, what we've now discovered or are discovering about them, what it is about frequency that truly is behind us manifesting the lives that we truly want. And there's an energy to it. There's something to talk about. And today we're going to be talking with Ellen McDonough about pure light. But before we do that, let me say hi to B. Hi, B.
Hi, Pat. How you doing?
How you, B?
Good.
I have a new nickname.
Oh, okay. This would be number 15. We got a lot for you. We have a lot of them for you.
Well, this is what came from my table tennis people.
Oh, okay. This is going to be a good one.
Dragon Lady.
Dragon Lady. Very nice. So are you dressed up in like a traditional garb or gown or?
I have a dragon shirt.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And never thought about it.
Are you coming out breathing fire?
It was red.
But are you coming out breathing fire, not the
Oh,
shirt?
man.
I think that'd be a good intro for you.
Oh, come on. It is.
You're like,
Exactly.
Pat,
That's
coming
exactly
in
what
hot.
it is.
Pat
It's
coming
like,
in hot.
look out. I mean, I got to tell you, it's so much. We're going to talk with Ellen about energy today, but I don't wear red. Everybody's used to me wearing kind of very calm,
I take that back. No, you've worn red before. In fact, we've got some good studio pictures of
yeah,
you way back.
That's true.
All
but
right.
not with the ping pong game.
Okay. Yeah, that might be a little bit too much.
Oh my gosh. It was like, oh my gosh, like she's like the red dragon lady. There we go.
See my marketing strategy campaign
It's
I'm going for you right now?
Great. Yeah. I'm just saying for everybody. I know I'm just getting ready. I'm getting you ready for Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay.
Just getting you ready for that.
Gotcha.
Well, Benny, listen, a bunch of years back, and it really is, I came across some amazing art. Amazing. The minute I saw it, I loved it. And we were just in the process of creating our network and the websites and all of the above. And I so love the art. And I don't like using images from other people's websites without their permission. And so I went to the website placesoflight.com, and I saw that Ellen McDonough had created this art. And I just decided I'm going to reach out to Ellen and I'm going to ask her, can we use your art? We'll give you full credit for it and all of the above. And without a doubt, without even hesitation, she said yes. She's a visionary artist. She's the founder and designer of Pure Light. And this is a free app which is offering audios that transmit powerful healing frequencies, Benny, to help shift anything in your life. So I was thrilled when I first saw this. I thought, I know Ellen. And here she is, extending the energy of what she's been called to do in this world. And for those of you out there who are excited to announce, what Pure Light Audio is all about, how you're going to be able to tap into this fabulous app. And more than that, what is it that Ellen is now bringing forward, not just from a visual sense, but our shtick, an audio sense. Ellen, it's great to have you here. Yay for you, boy.
Thank you. Thank you for that great introduction.
Yeah. So, there is no question in my mind, the art that you do is absolutely still number one on my list. For whatever reason. I have a friend that said it's a past life thing. But now we're talking about Pure Light. This is the first app to offer energetic encoding. Tell us about it. This is so cool.
Yeah, it really is. Okay, well, Pure Light is a free app, like you mentioned, and the app offers audios that are infused and encoded with very high spiritual frequencies. And when these audios are played, these frequencies are transmitted, and they help to create positive change for the listener. And when I say positive change, that could be money miracles, looking and feeling younger, better health, improved sleep, increased psychic ability, releasing physical pain, releasing emotional pain. I mean, I could go on and on, pretty much anything under the sun. There are frequencies you can download to help create that result. So the app is basically like a marketplace of these frequency-infused audios where users can browse categories, they can search for what they want, they can also browse healers, and these are some of the world's top energy healers. And then to download audios, the user just taps the Get It button, which appears next to each audio title. And then the audios are downloaded directly to the app's audio player. And a really great feature is that when audios are downloaded, the instructions for how to use the audios are downloaded as well. Because these audios aren't like your typical music tracks that you get on iTunes, for example, where you download it and you just start playing it, no big deal. Rather, because these audios are infused with such powerful energies, it's like energy medicine. So just like a supplement would have directions for how to use, so do these audios. So the instructions are downloaded along with the audios. And I can talk more about different ways to use them in a minute. We are interfacing with iTunes, so users can apply iTunes gift cards. And the same with Play Store. Users can apply Play Store gift cards. And we offer both single audios and audio packages. And audio packages are downloaded as their own playlist automatically, along with the instructions. So yeah, it's really fun. We've got lots and lots of free audios because I really want users to play with these audios and get a sense of the healers. So there's lots of free stuff. We're very generous on this app. And yeah, that's Pure Light. It's really fun. Users can download frequencies to shift virtually anything.
Well, I mean, part of what we're talking about here is we're talking about the power of frequencies. And what we've learned now, it's not just about a conversation. And, you know, I mean, clearly 15 years ago when we started this, you know, we had a sense of it, but the science wasn't there necessarily to support it. Now the science is here.
Yes, yes. And even Tesla said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Physicality is illusion. I mean, we're just surrounded by frequencies.
So, you know, when we look at this is, for example, this is, let's just call it leading edge, forward looking. I'm so interested in how ideas come to people. Tell me how this came to you.
Oh, well, it was a bit of a journey. There were a few reasons, a few motivations for creating this app. The first one is just my own personal experience with these audios and knowing that they are effective. And I'll go into a little bit of backstory. I'll try to be brief. It was around like late 2000s into the 20-teens that I suffered with a seemingly endless list of bizarre symptoms that nobody could explain, let alone cure. And I saw every medical practitioner, tried every modality, did everything I possibly could, but nothing helped. I mean, the only thing anyone could ever tell me was that my adrenal glands were worn out, which I knew because I was extremely exhausted, dragging my feet. But otherwise, I just got baffled looks. And I had, you know, beside extreme fatigue, I had pains and aches and bizarre symptoms like I try new food and then I wouldn't sleep for 4 nights in a row. Or I would, my left eye would be super dry and my right eye would be fine. And then a few days later, it'd be the opposite. So it's just bizarre stuff. And practitioners just gave me baffled looks and then sent me home. It was awful. And before that, I was someone who had tons of energy. I was so used to being in optimal health and having so many irons in the fire and being super productive and super ambitious and super independent. And, you know, I'm a runner and a fitness fanatic. And I was just used to, you know, this kind of high caliber lifestyle. But then during these years, I could barely do anything but lay on the couch. Yeah. It was awful. So anyway, suffice it to say, these years were, for me, very dark, very depressing. I had many, many, many dark nights of the soul where I really wondered if I would ever get better. So it was awful. But it was around 2011 or so that I started hearing about audios that were infused with healing frequencies. And I was intrigued because I would lay on the couch day after day exhausted, and I'd listen to a lot of radio, a lot of telesummit interviews where healers would come on and talk about their audios that were infused with healing frequencies. So I started playing around with them, and the results were pretty amazing. And I can't, of course, make any medical claims, but for me, I really felt a huge difference. A lot of audios, I would play them and I would literally feel my energy field just being blasted with white light and super high frequencies. And anything that didn't match that frequency came up to be released. So I admit it wasn't always a picnic because I had to undergo some detoxing, physical and emotional, emotional and, old memories would come up and I'd have to look at my beliefs and perceptions. There's a lot of audios did make me aware of these beliefs that I didn't even know I had, but they were kind of running in the background, causing problems. And the audios helped me identify these beliefs, but also to clear them, which is great. And a lot of audios, though, I would just play in a loop. While I slept, which is great. And then I'd wake up the next day and I'd feel so much better, so much lighter. And I didn't know what left my field, but it was like some darkness that was weighing me down was just gone. Looking back, I'm 99% certain whatever left my field, most of it anyway, didn't even belong to me because I am extremely empathic, like I'm sure a lot of your listeners are. So I think a lot of what was causing problems was just energy that I picked up from other people and other places. But the audios helped to just clear that. Anything that wasn't true to me was just gone. And then other audios, I would listen and I would just be in such a blissful state that I actually had hope, which meant everything to me during those years. But one by one, my symptoms just faded and ultimately vanished. And I'm so, so grateful. But then on top of that, I became more intuitive and life became more synchronistic, because what these audios do is they raise your vibration. No matter what specific topic you're listening to, they do raise your vibration. And the higher your vibration, the more easily life flows. So it's just, I love it. It's wonderful. And that was the first reason, is just knowing from my own experience that these audios are definitely effective. But as I started talking to other people about my healing journey, I realized very quickly that there are many, even in spiritual communities, who've never heard of this subject, this concept. Maybe they've heard of Reiki energy infused into a soundtrack, but as far as like an audio where you listen and then you get money miracles, for example, like that was just this unknown concept, I'm finding, for a lot of people. So I really wanted to help get the word out. And then thirdly, this market for frequency-infused audios is very fragmented, because individual healers create them and users have to go to an individual healer's website or Facebook page to see what's new. So the app is this kind of a central marketplace where users can just browse all of them, because they're not just for health and healing. My personal journey is, mostly for health and healing, but these audios span many, many categories. So the app is a marketplace where you can just search for whatever you need. And lastly, it's just a way to help broadcast healing frequencies, because there are a lot of dark energies on this planet. And definitely an agenda to keep us dumbed down and in fear. And so at least this is a way to help spread the higher vibrations and the healing frequencies and, make a difference on the planet. So that was, my journey.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I want to ask you about is I am just so clear that there is great creativity that stems from even greater challenges / pain. Yes. And, I haven't seen a single case that I could recall that isn't true in a 15-year period. And, this idea of looking at how frequencies can change you. I did the same thing. My healing journey, I latched on to one meditation CD, just one. And I listened to it and I played that thing over and over and over and over. And it was a frequency kind of thing. And, then I started to, beat up on myself and said, why don't you try something different? But I didn't know what you just shared. See, I didn't know about the science of this, as well as the spiritual nature of this. And so what you've done is you've put both together, right?
Yes.
Look, sometimes we get enormous results. I have had instantaneous results, meaning I'm not even finished asking for the thing and an email will pop up in my inbox. But give me an idea of results, what you've seen, what some of the testimonials might be about.
Yeah, well, first of all, with results, everyone is different. So some people get results quickly. For others, it may take some time to entrain to the new frequencies. Eventually you do. But testimonials, there's so many. I mean, first of all, my own healing journey, but there's one audio. I could talk about some of them. Yeah. But there's a Miracle Money Manifester by Jenny No. That's a free audio on the app. But the first time I listened to that, I listened on a loop, and a few days later, I got a surprise check for $1,200.
Wow.
And a few weeks later, I listened again on a loop, and I received 5 figures from a stock purchase I have no memory of making. And but I mean, I was so happy about that. And then a few months later, I listened again just for fun, and because I love the music. And again, I received another 5 figures. So that I love that. I love that audience. That always works like a charm for me. I can't guarantee that same result for everyone because everyone's different, but these audios definitely work. There's that one, and then there's another one, Infinite Aladdin's Lamp, which is, just making your wishes come true. And I was at an event that meant so much to me, and I played that one on a loop, and I got everything I wanted for that event.
Wow.
Yeah, and then from user testimonials. Lynn Waldrop is another healer. She's got an audio toxin detox, which is part of a package called Detox 7. A listener had a rash on her neck and no one could explain it, but she listened to Toxin Detox and it vanished. Yeah, I mean, anything could be accomplished with frequency. And then we've got another one by the Stargate Experience called Growing Young. It's a package, but it's got frequencies for revitalizing telomeres and mitochondria and stem cells. And one user said she played the telomeres audio for almost 3 weeks and her leathery skin is gone after listening. And Michelle Carter has one for eye and sight issues where a user said she couldn't see the clock on her dashboard, and now she can. And they said she also has one for repelling EMFs, and that cleared someone's ear pain that EMFs were causing. Jill Matson has some beautiful, beautiful music, and she's got a package called Deep Wave Beauty, which is all about skin tightening and frequencies for collagen. And one listener in her mid-60s said her skin tightened, and she actually lost 2 dress sizes.
Wow.
And it's pretty amazing. And Lana Spencer has sleeping in clear light. And the user said that they slept like a baby the first time in years. I mean, it's pretty amazing. There's just so much that can be accomplished.
Tell us how people can go to the website and find out more. I know we're going to talk a little bit more, but I just want to make sure we give out the website a couple of times.
Yeah, it's purelightaudio.com.
So Pure Light, Light, audio.com.
Right.
And when you get there, what people are going to see is a way for these audios to be downloaded. And for those people, the app is ready for any of your app devices, your Apple devices, and then Android is coming soon.
Yes.
I mean, it's pretty easy to do, right?
Oh, very. We've got links. Yeah, we got a link to the App Store page for Apple, and then the Android version is coming soon. And you just download the app, and you can just have fun with the frequencies.
Mm-hmm. I kind of want to talk a little bit about, this idea of frequencies and becoming infused. And I would like to talk a little bit more about loop, because many people may or may not know what you mean when you say, I just listened to it in a loop. Let's tell folks why that's important, and why it's also, very hypnotic in a sense, and what should they be doing, if anything, while listening?
Well, the audios are all different, and that's why the instructions are included with each download, because not only some of the audios it's okay to loop. Mm-hmm. Actually, well, maybe probably most of them, but the different ways. Before I get into that, let me just go over the different ways to use them, and then I can talk more about looping. Yeah. Like I said, they're all different because each healer has their own unique healing method. So some audios, some require active listening, where the healer is it's sort of like a guided meditation, but the healer is actually transmitting energies, and you direct the energies where you want to. Yeah. So, and then, like I said, many can be played on a loop during the day or while sleeping with the volume lowered or even muted, and you can just bask in the high frequencies. And then some you're not supposed to loop because the energy is so powerful that you only listen like once a day. Mm-hmm. And then just you slowly entrain to the frequencies, and maybe you gradually build up, or maybe you just keep it at once a day, and that's enough. A few require headphones, most don't. And then with some of the audio packages, it would be like you listen to one audio for like a week, and then you move on to the next one and the next one because the energies build. So they're all different, and something to keep in mind when you're playing the audios, especially those that you can loop, is that when these frequencies are broadcasted, anyone and anything around you gets the benefit of these frequencies. Wow. Yeah, so it's a great way to broadcast healing frequencies and uplift those around you, and not just people, but pets and plants and even inanimate objects to clear any dark energy from an object or a room. It's one of the reasons I created this app, is to help broadcast healing frequencies. And as far as looping goes, there's just the audio player is a typical audio player where you can shuffle play, or you can tap the loop icon to loop the playlist, or you can loop a specific audio by just tapping twice, and you get the little one icon on the loop, like any typical audio player. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and those that you're allowed to loop, I suggest definitely do that, because then you're basking in the high frequencies, and you'll just entrain to those frequencies very quickly. And like I said, anyone and anything around you gets the benefit of those frequencies as well.
is one thing in particular that I know we think about our animal friends, and so many of our listeners have our animal friends and even children. Can we talk a little bit about the impact of that? Because, you may have earbuds on, but then you may not. And so let's talk about what you've discovered about that, and then also how that does affect our animal friends and our kids, for example.
Yeah. Well, if you want to help others, first of all, everyone's got free will, so we certainly can't, use these audios to control people, but we can play these audios as an invitation to help others and train to higher frequencies. I would suggest if that's your intention, then don't use earbuds, but that's not to say they wouldn't work if you did use them, because it's frequency and intention. So, this technology, this conscious technology, is well beyond 3D. So as long as, and if your energy field isn't training to a certain frequency, you're going to impact those around you anyway. And this is well beyond the laws of 3D.
Well, I think there's a couple of things, too, that directly relates to that. One is this is really audio to expand consciousness, right?
Yes.
The other thing that I want to talk about is, and we talk about this a lot on the show, is that it's also about releasing things, clearing limited beliefs, releasing stress, right? And, what we're talking about is letting go and adding on. And, that's a dynamic of exchange as well. But the app itself, when people take a look at the app, there's going to be a number of different things they can do and how they use it. What is it that you think is most important for people to know
about Pure Light?
Yeah.
Well, I'll just explain briefly what the audios are like, because they're all different. So some have talking, like I mentioned, and others have soft music. Others have light language. Others have voice toning, where it's sound healing, but the healer is using their voice to transmit frequencies. Many are silent, and many are a combination thereof. So like talking with periods of silence, or light language with soft music, for example, but they're all unique. And that's why I encourage users to just have fun, download. We've got lots of free stuff on the app. So to have fun with them, see what healers you resonate with, and believe anything is possible. Whatever you want to create in your life, seriously, it is possible. And it's just about shifting frequencies.
Wow. And this is really what we want. And we want it in a way that goes with us. We want things that we can take in our car, take in our phones. Most of us now, we use our phones. I listen to live audio through my phone. I listen to Transformation Talk Radio through the phone app, all of the above. So we really are plugging into this. And right now, the leading contingency is moms over 35. They are the leaders in phones and phone apps. I wanted to ask you, I know that you've got a future. I know that there is a vision. Tell us what's coming next.
Well, I don't know what's coming next. You mean with Pure Light? I thought you meant just generally. With Pure Light, I definitely want to offer content off the website, and as well as healing videos and even frequency-infused imagery on both the app and the website, because my vision for Pure Light is for this to be not just a marketplace, but more like a sanctuary where people can just come for healing and learn about these energy healers and bask in the healing frequencies. So that's awesome. That's where this project for Pure Light is going. Yes.
I love it. And, you're also an artist, and I encourage people to take a look at your art. What is the best way for folks to do that?
Placesoflight.com.
Wow. One more time.
Placesoflight.com.
Well, Ellen, thank you for today. I got one last question for you. What's your personal message? What would you like to leave us with?
Oh, boy. There is so much magic beyond this 3D perceptual bandwidth. This 3D world around us is illusion, and it hammers in relentlessly that we are limited and separate and powerless. And it's illusion. We are infinite beings who are here to create new possibilities. And just keep believing. There is just so much magic available. And that is my passion, is bringing light and higher frequencies to the planet any way that I can, because I know this reality is so intent on keeping us in the dark. But truly, for everyone out there, do not give up. You are a magnificent being with unlimited potential, and it's just a matter of high frequencies. Be in the high frequencies.
I love it. Ellen, one more time, website.
My artwork is placesoflight.com.
Awesome.
And the app is purelightaudio.com.
Yeah. And folks, as I said before, what's on the horizon is the Android version of this. But those of you Apple users, go get it. Download it. Change your life. We're going to take a short break, everyone, because we've got our good news segment coming up. And again, purelightaudio.com. And as I said, check out Ellen's art, placesoflight.com. Also, you can go to facebook.com, Pure Light Audio. Short break, everyone. We'll be right back.
Oh, I beg and plead, singing, come out of things unsaid. Shouldn't I pull off my head and a trouble that can be named.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.